Hey, what's going on, guys? Brandon here with Texas Revving, making another video on the Ranger Raptor because, as you can see behind me, it's got a new bumper put on there. And so I want to talk about it, a couple things to know and all that good stuff, what the bumper is, and walk you guys through it. Now, real quickly, I don't want to waste anyone's time. This is not an install tutorial at all. I thought for a second it'd be kind of fun to make a video while getting installed, but I'm glad I didn't. It was a little bit more ins and outs than my buddy and I expected. And by the way, a quick shout out to my friend Isaac for helping install the bumper. Go spam his Instagram so much so to where he'll regret even helping me. But again, thanks, Isaac. But yeah, this here is an Addictive Desert Design, or ADD, bumper. And enough of my face, let's go ahead and spin the camera around and talk about it. I was really attracted to the Ranger Raptor more so for the capabilities and components than the looks of it, because even me, somewhat of a Ford fanboy, I will say that the competitors of this truck, the Tacoma TRD Pro and the Colorado ZR2, have way more of an aggressive edge to their design. I thought the Ranger Raptor did not look bad by any means, but definitely had a little bit more of a soft character to it, especially comparing it to the bigger brother Raptors like the F-150. But I put components and the way it drives ahead of all of that, and so I was totally fine with the way it looked. I just wish it looked a little bit more aggressive. But then I started seeing some bumpers from ADD, and it was called the Phantom bumper, and it was really the only aesthetic bumper that I thought really fit the truck and made it look really fantastic. And so I was all set into getting that bumper. Well, I'm glad I didn't act on anything too fast, because this here is the ADD Edge bumper, and they just recently came out with it. And so I haven't really seen a whole lot of trucks outfitted with them. Other than ADD's truck, they have a Ranger Raptor in Shelter Green, and I thought it looked so dang good. I'll put some pictures of it here. And they put it on Instagram, and I had a buddy of mine, Noah, thanks for sending it to me. So I was made aware of it, and so I'm like, you know what? Scratch the Phantom bumper. As good as that looks, I want this one here. So I just think it looks fantastic. Let's go ahead and get up close to it. This Edge bumper is ready to go for 4 6-inch lights. It's either the LP4s from Baja Design, or what I did here is the rigid lights. These are the 360 series. I love how much more of the stock suspension components you can see once you have this bumper on there. The orange from this suspension just looks really cool. The control arms, all of that good stuff. You have a black skid plate here. It's a steel bumper as well, made in America. I just think it looks fantastic, but you also get just a little bit more ground clearance with it as well. If you wanted to remove your recovery points, you can, if you think it looks more aesthetic that way, but functionally I like it, and I don't think it looks bad either. The bumper itself is not necessarily too cheap, but then again, it's not some Temu garbage. This is ADD. It's a brand that I certainly have known and loved for a while, but it goes for $2,398, and then an extra $200 for the ACC, or Advanced Cruise Control bracket, so you can maintain your advanced cruise control. Now, just a couple things to know. 2025s have 4 parking sensors in the front. 2024s have 6. So that leads me to think that's going to stay this way. So 2025s and above only have 4 parking sensors, and that is going to be 1, 2, and 3, 4. The older one, the 2024 first year Ranger Raptor, had parking sensors here. So I had this hole here, but thanks to ADD, they did send me out this little rubber grommet looking thing to plug it, just so it looks, not like a big hole there. Now, this is just my personal preference, but I actually just disable the parking sensors. I don't like them beeping at me. I still have my 360 cam, so I'd rather have a visual rather than just a bunch of beeping. So I just straight up disable that, so I don't even care. I wish that there was an offering where we could just have them without the parking sensor holes, but I get it. It's neat to retain the OEM stuff for those who like that. I personally didn't really care for it. Another thing to mention with that, though, is the center ones are silver because they were painted to match the OEM bumper, and they stay silver. You could go ahead and swap that out to some black ones, I'm sure, or get that masked off or something. That doesn't actually bother me as much as I thought it would. It just kind of blends in, those 2 little silver spots. I'm okay with it personally. The other thing is that they are installed on there with double side tape that was supplied from ADD, and just from driving it, the wind hitting it right here, they were kind of recessed and starting to kind of fall back into there. And so we got those more so secured with a little bit of some quick JB, quite a bit more secured. You could press on them a little bit harder, and those are far more secure than double side tape. Something kind of interesting that my buddy pointed out as well is there's really no channel here to tuck in wiring. So if you really get down here and look, you can see the different coloring wiring, but we tucked it up as best we could by kind of modifying the bumper just a little bit. At the back of this piece of the new bumper, we drilled a couple little holes here. I forgot just how many. And that way we could kind of get the wiring up onto this and zip tie it through the hole drilled into this to the back of it. And then this bumper recesses far enough in here to where it doesn't even contact, the zip tie doesn't contact the painted bumper. So there are little zip ties just holding up some of this wiring a little bit better. Other than that, just to make it a little bit more aesthetic, under the the factory recovery hooks. There was like this little square piece, little bracket. So we went ahead and just cut that off and then painted that just to prevent some rust. There's also this little like metal flange thing, whatever bracket that hung out here. Cut that and just hit it with a little bit of paint just to avoid rust once again. The fender liner was not necessary to cut to get the install, but it would have been sticking out to about right here and would have been probably flapping with the wind. The wind would have just been hitting it right here and obviously just blocking the view of the suspension. So just trimmed that to about right here, and that was pretty easy. Just a little side note for you. Talking about the lights real quickly. So I went ahead and opted for the rigid lights only because I knew they would look really, really good. That is what ADD was posting on their socials, and I just thought it looked awesome. Now, if you go on ADD's website, you could buy the lights directly from there as well. They're a little bit more expensive because they are a different series to this. They are the 360 series just like mine, but they have all the colors as well. I knew I only wanted to rock white lights, and so I went on Amazon and found these. So again, rigid 360 6-inch lights, and they are different from the outsides and the inside. So on the outsides, I have their drive beam lights, a little bit more of a spread, and down the middle on a different switch, I have the spotlights. That brings me to another point that, you know, this is something I'd like to correct at some point just because it's a little weird, but I have these two lights here, the outside drive lights on one switch, that's auxiliary switch 2, and then the ones down the middle for the spotlights are on auxiliary switch 5. One day I'd like to get it to where it's just like switch 1 and 2, but the reason we did it that way is from the factory, the placement and the amp rating. Auxiliary switch 1 is rated for 5 amps, 2, 3, and 4 are rated for 15 amps, 5 and 6 are 25 amps. But again, the reason I have switches 2 and 5 is because switch 1, 2, and 5 are in the front, bundled up nicely, but then switch 3, 4, and 6 are towards the rear of the truck. As of right now, I don't really know all the ins and outs of getting that switched up to where we could get the wiring and the aux switches to be different, because I would just like it to simply be switch 1 and 2. It certainly works right now, but yeah, that's just the weird placement on the Ranger Raptor and the weird amp ratings. I kind of just wish they had all the wires 1 through 6 in a nice little bundle at the front of the truck, and they were just all rated for high amps. And again, there's just certain angles, I'm trying to give it perspective, but you see far more of the underside, the control arm, suspension, all that good stuff. And the lights are as bright as I ever need them to be, and they are a really nice combo. I like the drive and spotlights placed where they are. I'll go ahead and interrupt this video with some night footage so you guys can see how that works. All right, to give you guys a quick example of the lights at night, right now it's just the standard headlights from the truck, and then we're gonna go ahead and just put the high beams, and that's about all the example from that there. So we'll go ahead and keep those on. And then here is my switch 2, which is going to be the outside drive lights. Pretty good. Go ahead and kill those. And here's aux 5, which is the center spotlights. So way more directional than with both of them. Quite a bit more. So obviously it's not going to get like, you know, perfectly done justice over video. So yeah, plenty of light. Even during the day, it looks super bright. So really cool. But again, just aesthetically awesome, functionally awesome, and just really gives the Ranger Raptor the look that I was going for. In addition to that, also got some black lug nuts put on there just to you know, get rid of those chrome ones, kind of interrupt it a little bit more. These ones are a little bit more subtle. And so slowly the truck's coming together. I really don't know the future plans aesthetically. I do know that the next thing I'm gonna do is the Ford Performance Pro Cal tune. I'm gonna go ahead and get some footage of it kind of, you know, accelerating, getting some impressions on the acceleration and torque and all that kind of stuff, getting it tuned, and then doing a video on that to talk about the differences. But as of right now, the bumper is on there and looks really good, if I do say so myself. So be sure to tell me what you guys think about it. With all that being said, that does it for a quick look at the ADD Edge bumper on here. This is going to be the new look of the truck on future content, so be sure to stick around and watch that. But as for this video, that does it. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys next time.